Kamate, kamate, puny humans, proud warriors.
I never drink wine.
Hell's
I
Kitchen.
find your suffering exquisite.
Smell the
Not
ashes.
my blood type.
Any last words?
Kamate, kamate.
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite.
Let's make some kebabs.
Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine.
Aim high.
I
aim
find your
true.
suffering exquisite.
Proud warriors. Kamate, kamate.
My aim is flawless.
Who let the dogs out?
Puny humans, proud warriors.
These nights sting.
Not my blood type.
Kamate,
You'll be a
kamate.
fine feast. I never drink wine.
Humans, proud warriors.
I find your suffering exquisite.
Kamate, kamate.
Not my blood type.
Any last words?
Something's burning.
Puny humans, proud warriors.
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine. I find your suffering
Let's make some
exquisite.
kebabs.
Kamate, kamate. Puny humans,
Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink
This night
wine.
sting.
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
proud
You'll
warriors.
be a fine feast.
Kamate, kamate. Puny humans.
I never drink
Any
wine.
last words?
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
Ghosts and ashes.
You'll be a fine feast.
Let's make some kebabs.
I never drink wine.
Proud warriors.
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
Kamate, kamate. Puny humans,
This
You'll
might
be a
sting.
fine feast. I never drink wine.
proud warriors.
I find your suffering exquisite.
Save you.
Kamate, kamate.
Not my blood type.
Puny humans, proud
You'll
warriors.
be a fine feast. I never drink
Any
wine.
last words?
I I find your suffering exquisite.
The night is dark.
Not my blood type.
Kamate, kamate!
You'll be a fine feast.
Let's make some kebabs. Spooky and scary.
I never drink wine.
Aim high, aim true.
Kamate, kamate!
I find your suffering
Might
exquisite.
sting.
Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast.
The humans, proud warriors!
I never drink wine.
Any last
I find
words?
your suffering exquisite.
No rest for the wicked.
Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast.
Kamate, kamate!
I never drink wine.
Who let the dogs out?
I find your suffering exquisite.
Let's make some kebabs.
Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast.
Puny humans,
We come at night.
proud warriors!
I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite.
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans,
Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine.
proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood
This might
type.
sting.
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine.
Puny humans,
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
No rest for the wicked.
proud warriors!
My aim is
You'll
flawless.
be a fine feast. I never drink.
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans,
I find your suffering
last words?
exquisite. Not my blood type.
proud warriors!
You'll be a fine feast.
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans,
I never drink wine.
Let's make some kebabs. Got a bone to pick.
proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
I find your suffering
Got a bone to
exquisite.
pick.
Not my blood type.
Puny humans, proud warriors!
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine.
Ghosts and ashes.
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans,
You'll be a fine feast.
Hell's Kitchen.
I never drink wine.
Smell the
I find
ashes.
your suffering exquisite.
Sting!
Not my blood type.
Kamate, kamate!
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite.
Something's burning.
Let's make
Not
some
my blood
kebabs.
type. You'll be a fine feast.
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate! Puny humans!
I never drink wine.
This might sting!
I find your suffering exquisite.
Proud warriors!
Got milk? Got milk?
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans!
Not my blood type.
Got milk? Milk? Any last words?
You'll be a fine feast.
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
I never drink wine.
Let's make some kebabs.
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
Puny humans!
You'll be a fine feast.
So hot right now.
This might sting!
I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite.
Death won't save you.
Not my blood type.
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
You'll be a fine
Any
feast.
last words?
I never drink wine. The hunter becomes prey.
So hot. Let's go nuclear.
Puny humans! Proud warriors!
I find your not my blood type exquisite.
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans!
You'll be a fine feast.
Let's make some kebabs.
Let's go nuclear.
I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite.
This might sting!
Not my blood type.
Let's go nuclear.
Got milk?
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine.
Proud warriors!
Any last
I
words?
find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type.
An arrow to your knee.
Kamate, kamate! Puny humans!
You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine.
Let's make some kebabs.
I find your suffering exquisite.
No rest.
Not my blood type.
This
You'll
might
be a
sting!
fine feast. I never drink wine. I find your suffering
Any last
exquisite.
words?
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
Let's make some kebabs.
Puny humans!
Not my blood type.
This might sting.
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
You'll be a fine feast.
Any last words?
I never drink wine.
Let's make some kebabs.
I find your suffering exquisite.
Puny humans!
Not my blood type.
Big ol' pile of them bones! Pile of them bones!
They come at night. No rest for the wicked. Obey. Obey. Obey.
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
You'll be a fine feast.
Puny humans!
I never drink wine.
Proud warriors! Kamate, kamate!
This might sting.
Puny humans!
Any last words? Let's make some kebabs.
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type. I never drink wine.
The arrow finds its mark. Its mark.
I find your suffering exquisite.
This might sting.
Not my blood type. feast. I never drink wine.
Any last words?
The night is dark. An arrow to your knee.
I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink. I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast.
Let's make some kebab.
I never drink.
A death foretold.
I find your suffering exquisite.
How warriors! Come attack! Come
Not my
attack!
blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink wine. I find your suffering exquisite. Not my blood type. You'll be a fine feast. I never drink. I find your suffering exquisite.
Make some kebab.
Not my blood type.